Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Data Dispatch. I hope you guys are all having a great day. Remember when we talked about Tempus just a few weeks ago when it was like 40 some dollars? Well, now it's at $72 right now in the overnight trading session. We called Tempus at a pretty early price, and now analysts are coming out with new price targets that are decently high. With the new acquisition of a big company, Tempus is making some big moves in the game. We're going to be talking about some of the details that you need to know, covering the price action, and what a lot of analysts are saying regarding price targets. We'll also be talking about Palantir consistently holding now above $100. These big AI stocks are making some big stabs in the industry. If you are a new or returning viewer, hit that like button. We're getting close to 23,000 subscribers. Let's see if we can hit it soon. And of course, not a financial advisor, collecting all the data and dispatching it to you. Now pop it up on the screen here. Tempus AI closes specifically at market close at 69.18, but where it sits right now in the overnight trading session on Robinhood is at 71.98, up over basically 20% on the day. Now, where Tempus is specifically sitting and why we're seeing a big jump in this stock price. Remember, this started to hit the headlines after Pelosi had announced her buying of Tempus and getting involved. And this was a smaller market cap company compared to all the other big companies that we saw on Pelosi's stock buying list. Now, the rating was actually upgraded with price targets up to $74 here by TD Cowen. Let's get into the details. Now, one thing that Tempus did is that it acquired Ambry Genetics in the $600 million precision medicine push. And why this is bullish is because Tempus is now starting to get incorporated with these different companies. And acquisition of these different companies is very favorable for more of these smaller market cap companies. Now, TD Cowen, with this price target here of $74, highlighted the transaction, which really brings a profitable germline testing laboratory with over $300 million in revenue to Tempus's AI portfolio. Now, this acquisition is really seen as a strategic move that not only augments Tempus AI existing product lineup, but also paves the way for positive free cash flow just in terms of acquiring the actual operations within this acquisition. Now, despite this relatively slower growth rate that we are seeing in Ambry Genetics, the overall impact in showing you here the expansion of Tempus's business operations, this is what is favorable. The deal affords Tempus with a $300 million profitable germline, like I mentioned before, testing lab, allowing opportunity to enhance their own products. This is why we're seeing analysts that are starting to increase their price targets across the board. And specifically, looking what these different analysts have to say, what we've seen in the last 30 days, the last month, 2 months, 3 months, mostly have all been bullish. We don't see any on the bearish end right here. And looking at analysts' evaluations of 12-month price targets over some of the other ones, they showcase right now an average price target of $63.12. With the high estimate of $74, like we just covered, and a low estimate of $52. What we're really seeing is a large positive shift from the lower end of things pushed up to now where the lower end of the price targets used to be where more previous high targets were. The previous average price target was at $50. So now sitting at $63. This is a large jump in such a short amount of time. Now, looking at this in-depth review, I think Pelosi has a big headwind on this, on why a lot of attention is coming to Tempus. But nonetheless, looking at some of the key insights of their data, market cap is only right now at $10 billion. So at 69.18 in terms of this market close right here with a volume of only 22 million, this shows you that this is still a decently small market cap stock with now a lot of eyeballs on it. I think Tempus will still continue to have room to run, especially with acquisitions that could continue in its near future, and now with a new company that will allow it to expand its product line. Let's talk about Palantir now. Switching the gears, flipping the page, Palantir is doing a great job holding at $100. sitting at a market cap of 230 billion. Remember, Palantir had that big jump from 82 all the way up here to 101 after an amazing quarter earning result. Where Palantir sits right now in the overnight hours is still sitting at that $100. And personally, I'm surprised that we actually haven't seen a pullback so far. Talking about this, what we are starting to see across the board though are some articles concerning about its valuation, talking about how valuation matters and talking about how there's a bubble once again for Palantir. Valuation is essential to any investment thesis. The bearish justification for Palantir is always going to be its valuation. People have been complaining about Palantir's valuation since it was at like $15 and $20, and look where it's at right now. With these big tech stocks and especially the leading competitors within the AI industry and especially being heavily involved into the defense sector in terms of governmental contracts and defense for the United States, the valuation has been completely disconnected, and we can see that. Will it hit Palantir at some point if we see some big shift in the market? Of course, the risk for downside potential is high, but right now, the opportunity for the growth, I think, in my own personal opinion, is still at the limelight, and Palantir is continuing to doubt the doubters. And we see here, we're going to continue to see these articles as Palantir's price continues to even accumulate even a higher market capitalization. Now, looking at Palantir, at this past indication, Alex Karp has been a big leader. In talking about this, they are making America more lethal. One of the big quotes that Alex Karp came out and said that they believe they are making more America lethal and making their adversaries increasingly afraid of acting against the interests of America, and especially Americans. He said they are proud of their moral stance and what they stand for. This is a big change that I think a lot of people are agreeing with, especially with the change in the recent administration. And they are very long on the U.S. and bullish on the U.S. and what is happening and what will happen in the future. So I think with the change in administration, money going into the defense sector, Palantir will be at the forefront. And with the Department of Governmental Efficiency, Palantir could act as an opportunity there to bring AI solutions to a lot of these possible different types of departments that could be considered wasteful in the eyes of Doge. Palantir is at the top of this AI revolution. So right now, these valuation concerns, they are not concerning me personally. Talking about the broader market here, you actually see the Dow Jones that closes 300 points higher for back-to-back gains as investors are looking past the tariff uncertainty. Remember last Saturday, the tariffs on Canada, Mexico, those were all kind of being talked about as Trump had put those into order. Now we're seeing a pausing on Canada's one specifically. We see some kind of tariff war between China. Nonetheless, the market on Monday was scared of the uncertainty that would come with this. Now, what we're seeing is that it's being brushed off. A lot of the dips that we've seen recently in the market are being quickly bought back up, which shows you that we are still in the midst of a bull market. And right now, we see the tariff thing is kind of cooling off a little bit, and the market is continuing to show positive momentum and buying pressure towards the green side. We're even seeing this on Wednesday here. Some of the big chip stocks and big stocks across the board are starting to report their earnings. A lot of earnings coming up. AMD, they actually posted steep losses following earnings. So for people that have been looking at AMD, now is at a very interesting price. Now down at 112 when it was just up to about 120, 130. People are starting to bet on the opportunity for AMD. We see NVIDIA, though, finally seeing a little bit of some green light after we saw some export fears regarding with China. Now, NVIDIA jumped more than 5% after server maker Supermicro announced full production availability. This is really important, especially with Blackwell's platform. In terms of just supply chain constraints, that's the main limiting factor for NVIDIA's large revenue rollout with this new AI chip. We know the demand's there. Can the supply keep up? So overall, things are looking good. One of the big stocks that was kind of bringing down the market, but the market still managed to finish in the green, was Google after it posted a cloud revenue miss as it ramps up spending on AI. A lot of people are starting to criticize or be uncertain on how long AI is actually going to capitalize on the promises, or how Google is going to capitalize on the promises made with AI. Overall revenue for the period came up short, but nonetheless, all the other stocks were able to help the broader market close in the green. We'll see what happens tomorrow. What is your reaction to Tempus having a large boost here with this acquisition of Ambry Genetics? And do you think Palantir will still continue to hold $100? Peace out, take care, and I'll catch you guys later.